All right. Okay, it's another best of 5. Welcome, everyone. It's Albino. It's Mixu. It's another Vanguard mirror because we just have a lot of them. But I saw people, I think in the comments, or maybe it was the Stormgate Discord saying, hey, look, we saw Mixu. We saw him play that Vanguard versus Vanguard, that VVV earlier. And it feels like we want to see Albino do it because Albino is much better at the mirror than, say, Denver might be. Even if Denver is the number 1 player on the number 2 player on the ladder. Feels like Albino might be a little bit better in that mirror, and luckily enough, I had an Albino Mixu best of 5, so that's what we're going for here. Mixu, upper right in the red, Albino bottom left in the blue, and I know also I keep promising some battle aces stuff, but I need to get some better knowledge of the units so I can talk about them better. So that'll be coming hopefully the end of the week, maybe. We'll see what as I have time. Anyways, that's not what's happening here. So we saw Mixu Denver earlier in the week. Maybe I put that up last week. I'm not totally sure, but that was all scouts and cars. Hedgehogs, scouts, get up to Central Command just about as quickly as possible. Go get a bunch of scouts that gives you map control that allows you to knock down some creep camps. Hedgehogs are a ton of damage and they're fast and they give you more map control. And then, you know, turns around and you're kind of dancing on the map with that one. And then, well, from that point on, the question is, okay, do you get the singular Vulcan because that handles a lot of scouts really well? Do you do something else? Do you go into probably not quick atlases? Is bio viable? I probably not. A bunch of scouts just shred exos, so that's probably. I mean, we did see Denver going for that double racks opening quite a bit in his series against Mixu, where he went double racks Lancer, tried to get some damage done and put things down. But it seems like these players are very interested in doing the standard thing, or at least the thing that we saw Mixu do. So it's a single racks, not an expand, but a single racks play into that Central Command. Most likely, I think it's on the way. I'm not totally sure. There's that blue glow on the town hall. I'm not sure if that means it's building a Bob or whether it's upgrading. But regardless, so we do have the scouts out, we do have the Lancer out because of course that tanks for these mobs. It does tank for you to go get the creep camps, which is going to be pretty nice. And it seems like Albino might be interested in a bit of an expand, just based off his positioning. He's not playing super on the map. He's building I think that's a sentry post down in the low ground. That kind of telegraphs that he might be interested in going for a bit of a quick expand. But there we go. Mixu does have the Central Command now. We're seeing the mass upgrades on top of all these scouts, on top of the Lancer as well. And there we go. There's the natural going down. Overcharge available. We do have the Buzzsaw turret here, which does a lot of splash damage. It's really good against these against the scouts and everything else. As we see, you know, one gets chunked down pretty quickly. I saw a lot of discourse in the YouTube comments, and I think it's kind of worth addressing. In that this promotion idea, this top bar skill, the reason that we're seeing players like Mixu and really everyone else rush to Central Command off of one base as quickly as possible. It's like, okay, how do you solve this? Is we're going to see the Lancer, or excuse me, the scout upgrades go down as well. So eventually they will slow, but the goal right now is bonus damage to light, is the ability to go and really start to shred the scouts, enemy bobs, if you can go find that. That being said, we saw a lot of discourse about, okay, this promotability, how do you gotta handle it? And I think the issue is that maybe it's a little bit too early, but more importantly, it's just too much. Giving almost all your units level 3 immediately is really a lot. I know I talked about this in one of the comments, but I saw someone talking about this idea where instead of it going and sending you up to tier 3 or to tier 3 immediately and just being, or I guess level 3. Tier 3 is a tech we don't have yet. But sending you up to level 3 immediately and then that's that. I think instead of what you want to do, or a really interesting idea would be just to increase the minimum level by 1. So scouts instead of starting at level 0, you cast that on them, they go up to level 1, and then they're at 0 XP, and then they would gain XP at level 1 as if they were level 0. So they can go in and get higher level faster, and maybe they gain 1 level, but it's not just the immediate tier 3 Vulcan, the immediate tier 3 Hedgehog that is so incredibly problematic. I think that's interesting because that's still kind of the idea of the skill, while not being quite as broken, because you still have to interact with the map to get those upgrades, is kind of the logic. But for now, we got double Buzzsaw Cannon, Hedgehogs popping out, Central Command Looks like it's done in the natural for Albino. He's got, well, a lot of tech going up, and Mixu, his natural was a little bit slower, but because of all this map control that he's been generated, and this has generally been true in Stormgate, is if you kind of one base map control, your third base is going to be a lot faster than your opponent's, because you have that map control that allows you to go and make it really hard for your opponent to get their third. So Albino's going to scout in with his very low health scout. It's not going to get much of anything done. It's going to poke a little bit, but Bob's realistically should just pull off and kill. Actually, just it's not going to kill anyways. So Hedgehogs should be out in time, and that'll be that. But Albino, how do you take advantage of this lead that you got right now? This supply lead that you have. Obviously, very Therium starved at the moment. That is a bit of a problem. He's got a bunch of Luminite, no Therium. So he's going to dive into this third base. A couple Hedgehogs are here. Now, they're not fully level 3 just yet, but 4 Hedgehogs versus 2 make a big difference, even though, well, Hedgehogs are a little bit better upgraded. But this surround coming out of Mixu is a big problem. Hedgehogs have, oh, they're all trapped in a corner. They're all dead. Oh, this is a problem right now. Albino going for this timing, this idea that he can get his tech up just a little bit faster and a little bit higher quality by going for that natural, and then losing all 4 hogs that early on. Everything that he's committed to all of a sudden is dead. It's in the ground, and because he doesn't have that map control, he doesn't have the Therium spots, bottom right, upper left. He doesn't have, well, he does have one Luminite camp somehow, but that should go away pretty quickly. More importantly, though, he doesn't have the Therium camp, so he can't really pre-produce this nearly as well. And now it is 4 Hedgehogs to 2. None of them are upgraded. Albino does have the energy for it, but he's not really casting the spell, not just yet. I guess he's saving energy in case he needs an overcharge, but we're going to see the Repair-matic go down on that turret as now the Hedgehogs run forward. Luckily, again, they can be repaired. That does make life a little bit more interesting. And by the way, we are seeing double barracks get made from this. I don't know if that was a reaction, a panic move, just because I need to build more stuff and I need to build stuff that only costs Luminite, not Therium. I don't know if that's necessarily the play, but it would be interesting. Technically, a bunch of Exos against a bunch of Hedgehogs do very well. Theoretically, as we got a big fight happen on the other side. Okay, well, Vulcan pops out and it's immediately dead. And I think Albino losing those 4 Hedgehogs early on has kind of sunk the game for him at this point. Yes, there's a Hedgehog or there's a Buzzsaw cannon on the back line. And yes, I guess there's a Lancer and maybe there's actually there's not even an overcharge available. No energy for it. Another Vulcan's going to pop out, but immediately dead. Yeah, no, this is it. Albino losing those first 4 Hedgehogs. That's a problem. Problem with no true solution. Mixu takes game 1. And now we find our way into game 2, and it's kind of interesting as we take a look at this. I love that we've cast 2 Vanguard mirrors in the last week or so as I kind of work my way through the interesting matches that I have from the 3 weeks of the Alpha Navigators Cup that happened. And unfortunately, I didn't get any of the standard stuff. I didn't get any of the Celestial Mirror. There was one tournament that was just Celestial Mirrors for everything, or it was Celestial only. I think it was called the Anime Cat Girl Bash or something like that. Unfortunately, none of those were recorded, so I don't have access to those, which is very, very sad. Because I'd love to take a look at the Celestial Mirror. I know I talked to Parting about it, and I'm like, hey, do you have anything you managed to record, whatever? You know, at least I can cast first person. He's like, no, it's horrible. I try to go macro, and I get Argent Rush, and the game's over in 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, fair. But we are seeing different builds coming out of Albino. We saw the greedy build in game number 1 that worked out. I think it worked out for him fairly well. He just sacked all of his Hedgehogs into a wall, mispathed, and got surrounded and died. I think if he was able to go and not get surrounded and kind of play more of a kiting style, I think he is probably fine. But as it stood, he just overcommitted in the wrong way and lost everything. So I liked the idea. I think it has a lot of legs. Unfortunately, Mixu just caught him out and killed him. But now he's going for something different. He's going for that double Lancer type of setup. Or actually, this might be double Scout. Because we do see the bio. Oh, never mind. That's a habitat. I thought that was a biokinetics lab. I'm like, oh, great. Big upgrades. But that's not what we're going to see. So likely double Lancer here popping out of Albino as he's got his habitat up so he can make sure he's got supply available. Population available. I forget what the official term is. So used to StarCraft, right? It's supply. But that might be trademarked by Blizzard, so maybe we got to be careful about that one. Anyways, seeing how long it's taking for blue units to pop up on. Well, actually, I don't think any of those barracks are being used. What is happening here from Albino? There's a mech bay on the way. Is this? Oh, okay. This is just him being safe. Okay, that's pretty interesting. So we, of course, I want to say that's a central command down. He's got the double barracks building. Oh, this is a full wall. Man, I thought there was a gap there. Never mind. Let's rethink everything that we can possibly think about. So it's a full wall in the main base. Albino, he can sell one or both of these barracks once he has sufficient army up to be happy. But in the meantime, he's got himself up to central command. He got his mech lab on the way. We should see a mech bay eventually, or a machine lab, machine bay, whatever it is. The upgrade structure. I'm totally blanking on the name at the moment because I'm dumb. He's got the mech bay up, machine lab. There we go. On the way. One Lancer was made to try to again just clear some creep camps, but 3 scouts and a Lancer, especially with all the upgrades, means that this Lancer is tremendously dead. But he will try to kite into a corner. The problem is the creeps are killing him. So Albino has, well, luckily, yeah. This is pretty rough. He's trying to optimize surface area as much as he can, but yeah, he can't find the right lineup. And even if Lancers are tanky, they're not that tanky. So he will lose the Lancer. But remember, he's got a full wall in the main base up until right now. When he doesn't, he sells it off. And this is the Bob pull. There we go. Optimizing even the path. He's got the Vulcan going down to the low ground. Every single Bob. Yeah, every single Bob pulled with this Vulcan. And remember, unlike StarCraft 2, repair is free. It's not like he's got to save money to make sure he's okay. He's just going to run across the map. Now, he's in a bit of a base trade. Because there is absolutely something's rallying across. I'm not sure what it is. Albino getting away with whatever it is. I don't know. Some units running across. It might be the final Bob. I'm not totally sure. Running onto the other side of the map, distracting Mixu as much as he can. But this is a level 3 Lancer. Or a level 3 Vulcan, excuse me. A bunch of Bobs getting pulled. We're going to see turrets pop up just now. There's nothing in them. And you know, the defensive, I actually really like this. A couple defensive hedgehogs were made. So we talked about this being some sort of base trade because he can't go defend at home. Well, he does have just barely enough units to defend at home. This buzzsaw turret is actually super clutch, though. Splash damage on the scouts as well as you can. Scouts are going to try to get on the back as well, but this one Vulcan is just not dying, and the mass-friendly repair means the Bobs aren't dying either. So we're going to see the repair turret is eventually going to go down. We're going to see the buzzsaw turret after that because nothing's going to really be able to keep it alive here. And slowly but steadily, this is starting to work through. Now, again, Mixu does have 2 bases. He does have a little bit more. Lancer is going to get promoted. Everything's going to get promoted, but things just aren't dying. And now we're going to see the Hedgehog's mass promotion as well. This buzzsaw turret has to go down, but oh, what a disgusting build from Albino. He ties it up. God, that build from Albino was gross. Let me pull every single Bob. I'll have 2 hedgehogs to deal with any sort of scout attempted base trade in production as I run. So I'll have them kind of following afterwards and I'll be fine. And then I have like 15 Bobs mass repairing a Vulcan in each other. And that feels really hard to spot. I don't know. Maybe there are ways, but that feels really hard to stop. So that's why Albino's maybe not the best player. And this is not me casting shade on Albino. Parting is, arguably mechanically stronger. Mixu is very, very good. Denver's a former pro StarCraft player. Mixu's a semi-pro. They got those mechanics. But this Aftermath Brain Trust, Albino and Theory and Parting and everyone, and Snockstar and Bossy, all working together to come up with crazy builds. It means that, yeah, Albino, he may not win the macro, he may not win the game of mechanics, but he's got his builds, and they are disgusting. So that's one of the benefits of either there being a new meta, like a new game coming out, or a new patch coming out, say in StarCraft 2 or something, or in this case, a totally new game, because you can just mess around with stuff and figure things out. And just, if you have a knowledge gap on your opponent, if you figure out something that they don't know, well, you can do stuff like this and win games that you're not winning just by pure brawn alone, but brains are working out. So I am very curious to see what Albino has in store for us in this third game. Remember, of course, this is a best of 5, so this is not series point. This is, of course, just trying to get up to series point, trying to get up to tournament point. And of course, on Isle Red, which is the map that we're on, you're not really gonna be able to go and wall off the side and do what he did. Just the quick mech bay rush into the Vulcan, into the Bob pull. First of all, Isle Red is, I don't know what natural to natural rush distance is. I haven't counted it, and I don't think it's publicized anywhere, but it's a long as hell map. There are tons of attack patterns, so that build for multiple reasons won't really. Well, there are 2 entrances in the main base, so you can't wall it off. And for all of those reasons, well, you're not really going to be able to go and get away with that build that Albino got away with in game number 2. I don't think. I wouldn't be surprised if at lower levels you could say, I don't know, 1700 MMR, 1400, I guess rating points. Something around there, like, you know, good but not great. I wouldn't be surprised if you could get away with it. But up here with Mixu being as active as he is, I don't really think you can pull that off. So this is a much more standard build from Albino. He's got a bunch of scouts. There's the upgrade. And then we're going to see 5 scouts all at level 3, looking to clear around the map, taking the Therium points. And Albino gets both Therium setups for just a little bit. And remember, even if Mixu's reclaiming the one on the north side, which he is, getting that back, scout goes over, the creeps went down in the favor of Albino, which means that he got about, what is it, 25 Therium? It's 5 Therium per. You get, there are 5 or 6 spiders, I forget. So it's 25 or 30 Therium, which actually that speeds you into your central command a little bit faster, speeds you into your mech bay maybe just a little bit faster. As we're going to see, well, everyone's just kind of messing around right now. Howls go off just so you can see everything. Engaging is, he goes for an engage, and realistically, I like the engage for Albino. He had better upgrades. He had better levels on all of his units. A couple scouts weren't fully promoted just yet. And now the microing going around, but the micro is much better for Mixu right now. So you're going to have to escape out of this one. Scouts are going down. The Lancers just left for dead, looking to maybe re-engage. A lot of these scouts are very low, but it will not matter. Mixu wins the micro battle significantly so. And now he's just got a lot more. He's got so very much more. All the scouts are low. Now a sentry post, a repair-matic, that can solve that problem. You can go repair your scouts. Go back into that one. Ooh, maybe catching scout. No, he's not going to get... maybe around a corner. No, he's not going to get it. Has to back up. And what we don't know, because I don't have a production tab, and we haven't seen the main bases recently, is whether we got the upgrades to give you bonus damage to light. That's kind of the important question. Because if he has, that's a big deal. I don't... So, ooh, Albino going 3 racks. Mixu wants to go for his natural, so he's going to go play a much more macro-heavy focus, but look at this. 3 racks from Albino. Is it just mass scout? What's he going for? I don't know. But I'm very curious to find out. So for right now, he's got scouts on the map. I mean, that's not surprising. But based on the movement of the units that are popping out here, I think this is double. I think this is just triple scouted because he just... Okay, so there's a slow as well. Upgrade's definitely done here for Mixu. I don't know. Certainly the slow is not available for Albino at this point. He goes triple racks, but his dogs are just not well upgraded, and he's losing every single fight. He's dead. Okay, well, that didn't work. I don't know if he skipped the biolab and then just, or whether he just got it for the bonus versus light and then sold it. I don't know. But regardless, Mixu's now up 1. Those upgrades, they make a big deal. Now we're on perhaps the last map in this series, as this is a best of 5. Mixu's up 2-1. So if you like what I do and you want more Stormgate content, as long as I can do it, I have all these VODs. I'm doing my best. If you want maybe some Battle Aces stuff as I figure out things about that game, if you want StarCraft content, I'm certainly live every Monday morning, 5 a.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central European Summertime, 2 a.m. Pacific, but that's probably a little bit too early, too late for most people. Regardless, you should go sub to my YouTube channel here, because I do go, when I go live on Twitch, I'm also live on YouTube. And also you'll get all these VODs of Stormgate and StarCraft and maybe some Battle Aces stuff. We'll see. But also go follow my Twitch channel, because that does help out quite a bit. And if you want to go sub over there, even when I'm offline, I'm not going to say no. I'll make sure to shout you off, or shout you out when I am online. As we see Albino going for that build that worked out for him really well in game number 2. And that also means that Mixu should know what's happening. Game 1, maybe you're not aware. Maybe it's something that's a little bit different. You're like, okay, I don't know how I feel about this. I'm not prepared, whatever. Albino, he's already done it once. Mixu should have some ideas about how to handle this. And unfortunately for Albino, while this map is certainly smaller than Isle of Dread, and certainly you can wall off your main base, they're on diagonal spawns. This is the worst spawn that Albino could have gone for. Realistically, he wanted a vertical spawn. Would have been happy with a horizontal spawn, but diagonal means the rush distance is just that much longer. It's that much more time for Mixu to go and prepare for this eventual timing that we're going to see. I'm willing to bet it's going to happen. So, Habitat's on the way, mining 5 orcas on Therium. I mean, he's got this very mapped out. And the question really at this point is whether Mixu can defend. And I think the way you do this is you just don't take your natural. You wall off the high ground and kind of sit behind that and get a bunch of hedgehogs and you're fine. I think that's probably the play. Although I don't know if you have range to properly handle that at that point. I'm not totally sure. So for now, Albino's got a couple scouts on the map again, just looking around, seeing what he can see. But the central command should be done by now. I'm assuming I was thinking we were gonna see it, but okay, central command's on the way. It's not done just yet. Mech bay's on the way, also not done just yet. But once those two things are done, we're gonna see the Vulcan get started pretty dang quickly. So Albino scouts in the main base. He's okay, 1-1. There's of course a barracks. There's a mech bay. Hedgehogs assumedly are gonna get started here, as he did claim one of the Luminite spots. No Therium though, unfortunately for that one. But there we go. We can see the central command's done. Of course, the structure looks just a little bit different. Bob's on the way. By the way, I didn't really ever notice this when I was playtesting, but apparently, if you're building Bobs, the light is blue. If you're upgrading, the light is red inside the central command. So there we go, visual indicators. Important to take a look at. But anyway, so central command done for both sides, obviously. As we can see again, there's a little bit more. It's like more of a tongue on the structure, I guess, is maybe the way to talk about it. Just jet out a little bit more, but Albino, we should see that Vulcan on the way. I feel like this is slightly slower than last time, but I may just be wrong. So for now, we don't have the barracks are not being sold. And remember, this is one base for Mixu. One of the reasons that he really struggled to hold, and there we go. There's the mass promotion there. Just spam that button. The mass promotion. I was gonna say the mass promotion on the hedgehogs is a thing. But anyways, now Bobs are gonna get pulled. Some of them even have Therium. 150, 300 Luminite now in the tank for Albino as he sells the barracks. A Vulcan running across. He's holding energy. I don't quite know why. In terms of promoting the Vulcan, I guess maybe. Yeah, okay, well, there we go. Level 3 Vulcan, 3 casts on it, knocks everything up, and then, well, hey. You got a bunch of heavily upgraded Bobs too, which actually matters quite a bit. Keeping the Bobs alive is the most important thing, because if the Bobs are alive, the Vulcan's alive. That's just how this works. And we're gonna see a couple of hedgehogs pop out. Of course, Albino is saving money, or is saving energy for the hedgehogs as well. That getting them up to level 3 is pretty important. It takes 3 casts to make that happen. So for now, we're gonna see one of the scouts take damage. It's not dead. Natural is on the way, or natural's done. We're going to start to see some mining there. Is now the Bobs, they got 2 jobs. A, it's repair. B, it's block out this army of Mixu coming in from behind. And for right now, there's another hedgehog in the army. And let's see if he can make this hold happen. Big surround actually on the hedgehogs, but oh, Albino doesn't hold position. He moved the Bobs backward, and that allowed, if those hedgehogs die, I think he wins the game just straight up. As it stands, it's still a very powerful push. But if he holds that off, it's going to be, it was such a big deal. Overcharged, not popping. Oh, the Vulcan popping out. This is how you hold this thing. Even the level 3 Bobs cannot withstand the power here. So yeah, they're mass repairing as well as they can. The shield goes down as well. Albino saving the energy for that one. Is the shield enough? It's 1,000 HP and the repairs are still kind of, no, this is not enough. There's no way this is enough. There's too much of an army. Albino supply is going to go down. Yeah, the idea super cool, but unfortunately, that's the type of build that only works once in a best of 5. Mixu takes the series 3-1, but the builds are gross. You'll love to see it.